Hey guys, Tizzou here, back casting more StarCraft 2. Exciting news in the mix. I'm now casting with GameReplays.org. If you don't know who they are, check them out. GameReplays.org. And I'm going to be bringing you today a Terran vs. Terran on Xel'Naga Caverns. Spawning in blue, ManofOneway. If you do not know who ManofOneway is, he is Boxer from Brood War, the infamous Terran player. I expect to see nothing but greatness out of him in StarCraft 2. It's just a little bit of my fanboy Brood War love sending his way. And spawning in red, we have the diabolical Red Terran. It's going to be the mystery Korean player. I searched his name in Google. It came up as Asia. I'm not going to actually call him Asia. I'm going to call him the Red Terran most of this game because I don't want to just butcher his name all game. That's not very nice. But we do not need to know his name to appreciate his high-level play. Here we go, game underway. Neither player decided to wall off. You will generally not see walls in Terran vs. Terran because if you'll see right here, a wall that is built here, your units are here and their units are here, and guess what? Your units have the same range, and if there's a wall in between you, they can hit it and you can't hit them. And here we go, Barracks going down for Boxer, ManofOneway, and Barracks just a couple seconds later going down for our diabolical Red Terran. Neither player opting to get gas yet means we won't see any kind of cheesy Reaper beginning, and here we go, gas going down, gas on a pretty typical time. I wouldn't be surprised to see our very typical tank Viking play come out of this, but you never know with these two players. You wouldn't be surprised to see a Banshee or some kind of early all-in push. Jumping back, the scout from our diabolical Red Terran. I'm going to love calling him diabolical because I just love that word. He is now getting his scout on. He knows there's no wall, not that he was expecting one. Barracks is almost on its way, and gas is in full production for both players now. Bringing up the APM tab, we have 192 to 142, definitely high-level players, because as we all know, the only way to measure a high-level player is by their APM. Please don't quote me on that, because it was a tad bit sarcasm. Marine on its way. Jumping back, Marine on its way. We got as mirror matchup as mirror could be. I'm going to say mirror as many times as possible until you all get annoyed. Look at that. Already got the Marine rallied to the Scout. Scout is going to get out of town. Our friend, the Red Terran, also getting his Scout out alive. Both very good decisions. You never want to lose a worker early, especially if you can avoid it. And Factory going down for Boxer. Jumping over to our Red Terran's base. Double gas. Already had a double gas going up for Boxer. Still, look at no Factory yet. Right now, he can afford a Factory. But he's... Oh, here we go. Reactor going down. Players in their strategy starting to diverge. We'll see if the fact that Marines take less damage, I should say siege tanks do less damage to light units than they previously did. And look at this, just scouting for any proxy he can. Marine is gonna buy SCV. Jumping back to our Red Terran's base, reactor almost finished, Factory about halfway done. And Boxer's Factory's already done and already started away on his starboard. He's getting a huge tech advantage. We'll see if the number of Marines is going to be too much for ManofOneway to deal with. Marines being pumped out 2 at a time. Very, very interesting stuff. You will not generally see a lot of fireball pushes, but now that the siege tank nerf is in place, we'll see if Marines have a whole new avenue of usefulness. And very wisely, we have Boxer, ManofOneway, throwing down a bunker at the front of his base. He doesn't want any kind of early push to come in and catch him off surprise, because right now, as you'll see, he is teching very hard. And look at this, a reactor going down on his barracks as well. Seeing very similar play. Oh, it looks like we're going to have this starport swap to get either double Viking or double medevac. I would be surprised if we saw double medevac, because he doesn't have a very large army to drop. But we may see one medevac and 2 Vikings. Wants to get that air presence very quickly. Our Red Terran finally, and he's putting it on a tech lab. These players, we're going to see which comes ahead. I imagine we'll see Banshee, and yes, Cloak Banshee coming down. Cloak just started. Reactor Barracks pumping up Marines. Cloaked Banshee, Cloaked Banshee on the way. And double Vikings for Boxer. I think these Vikings are going to be proved to be too much, but here comes the scan, and he knows there's 2 Vikings on the field. We'll see if he decides to maintain his path, and it doesn't look like he has any, he doesn't have any desire to stop producing his Banshees and move away from him, seeing as how Boxer already has 2 Vikings on the field. And here come the Marine army. He saw that he was primarily teching up, had already been ahead of him starport, and no! The Marines gonna pick off the Vikings. I got their HP up. Marines chasing them down. Vikings using the fact that they can fly, the Marines can't. Look at this Viking. He's gonna try and scout for an expansion. Knows expansion's on there, and oh no, he loses the Viking. Oh, excuse me. They're both our Terran players. ManofOneway, Boxer, losing a Viking while trying to find out if there's any expansion, and still pumping reactor Vikings. Siege tank. He is now supply blocked at 43. Oh, and our mystery red Terran player at 50. Not supply blocked. Now supply blocked, and here he comes across the field. One Banshee in play. Cloak is now done. Vikings running by. They see the Marines. These Marines coming into Boxer ManofOneway space. And look at this. 5 Vikings on the field now. Completely prepared for any kind of air push. And the scan goes down. The Cloak is still good. Goodbye goodbye Banshee. Goodbye Viking as well. Marines proving to be too much. Engineering Bay on its way down. And here we go. Landing him and bringing the SCVs, forcing our red Terran to back up, micro away, stutter shot as best he can. He doesn't want to lose any units, and definitely taking out a lot of SCVs. Bring up the income tab, 31 to 26. Our red Terran now in the advantage, and Banshee on the field again. Cloaked Banshee taking a look at his scan energy. 40 scan energy. He can't scan right now. Nothing he can. Oh, and the turret going down. There's nothing he can do except for wait for the energy or wait for a turret. And our red Terran is not going to make that easy. And look at that, aiming for nothing but SCVs, not wasting time. SCV, SCV, SCV. Scan going down. Goodbye, Banshee. Yes, goodbye, Banshee. Not able to get that Banshee out of it. And look at him just taking out SCVs with great malice. Our friend Boxer down to a nothing but, 7 SCVs. He's going to have to rebuild his entire economy. We'll see if the fact that he has the larger air presence right now is going to come into play. Reactor Marines, I'm sorry for spending so much time in Boxer's base. That's where all the action was going down. Triple barracks being added on. We're seeing a lot more bio, it looks like, coming from our red Terran. Still, he is concentrating on Banshees, not adding on medevacs. Very interesting. Generally, you'd think that with a bio play, you'd want that heal going on to help with that stim, but deciding that Banshees are the way to go. And the worst part for Boxer is all those scans cost 270 minerals opportunity cost. That's the amount of minerals that a mule would have brought you, the same price as a scan. So all these Cloak Banshees are hurting his economy even more after he lost all these SCVs. Turret in position. Is this Banshee going to be able to do anything? It's going to be able to... Oh, look at this. It's going to be a slap around the outside. And there's not a... Oh, no. Just within the range of that turret. And a scan going down. Banshee is dead. Vikings come out ahead. But our red Terran player has an expansion. If you see in our economy, 39 harvesters to 10. 40 harvesters to 10. That is 4 to 1 on the harvester ratio. You never want to be in this position. It's going to be extremely hard for ManofOneway to come back. But ManofOneway, as you know, is Boxer, and Boxer can do whatever he wants. He can bend the StarCraft universe to his will. I've seen it happen in the GSLs. Actually, excuse me, that is a lie. I'm thinking of somebody else. Don't quote me on that. Jumping back here. Vikings landing behind this grass. Our Terran player doesn't know, and here comes Boxer. He knows he needs to start harassing back himself. He can't allow this economy advantage to compound itself into a position he will never be able to win. Marines coming into the Marines coming into the mix. Vikings forced to lift off and retreat, only getting a couple SCVs, bringing the SCV count even closer now, 42 to 14. But still, Boxer in a terrible position. And look at this, Engineering Bay going down his expansion. Red Terran says, Boxer, you are going to deal with your economic problems. I don't want to hear about them. And there we go. Cloak Banshee getting a little too ballsy, getting too close to that turret. Finally finding a position where he can safely fire away without being scouted by that turret. Scan going down, wasting more minerals on scans. These Banshees are going down, but these minerals are just too important to Boxer right now. Those mules would have played out too large a role with his shortage of SCVs. But here he comes. Vikings, nope, the sign to double back. Has he noticed that his expansion has been taken away from him? No, he doesn't even know. Jumping back to the everyone cam. Boxer doesn't know about this annoying little setup here. The tanks will be able to make short work of that. But it's a little bit of a surprise running into that just outside of your base. Here we go. Marines, Marauders, and Siege tanks being added on. Look at this. He is producing up a storm. He has the extreme economy advantage you'll see in the top left. Bringing up the Army tab. 111 to 35. I just don't know what Boxer's going to be able to do to stop this push. but we'll stay with him and pray with him for as long as we can. Here we go. Scam went down. Looks like this is going to be the end. Set up outside of his base, stimming and just powering up that ramp. No hesitation. Vikings landing. Looks like this is all she wrote for Boxer. Good games down. It looks like the Banshee harass was just too much. Those Marines just catching him off guard. The tank Viking play we all know and love from the Terran vs. Terran has now been shaken up by that siege tank change. Marines now being twice as effective since they aren't one-shot by tanks, and you saw the way he was able to take out so many SCVs with that. Excellent game between two excellent players. I hope to cast more games. This was TizzouSC. I hope you enjoyed.